Hello puppies, you are welcome to General Studies class. I am Uncle Popo. Today, our subject of focus is agricultural science. Agricultural science is the subject we want to treat today. Before we go into today's topic, let's open the lesson the usual way we do. Uncle Popo is here. I am also here. That's the response I want from you at home. We are here together. 100% attention. That is to say that you have promised to give me 100% attention for today's lesson. In our lesson today, let's look at what we discussed in the last lesson in agricultural science. We talked about chickens. We talked about the male chicken is called rooster, the female is called hen, and the baby is called chicks, and we also talked a lot on chickens. So we are moving further to discuss more. We want to talk about their feeding, their housing, and how we can take care of a day-old chick. Now let's look at the learning objectives. You can see the picture of the mother and the chick. The learning objective now, by the end of today's lesson, you should be able to identify the types of chicken, list chicken feeds, and describe how to take care of a day-old chick. Types of chicken. The first one is egg-laying chickens. Say that. Egg-laying chickens. There are a special breed for laying eggs. Not all chickens lay eggs, but we have a special type that lay eggs. So egg-laying chickens, they are special breed for laying eggs. And examples, we have them like red sex-link, black sex-link. Let's look at the picture of what I'm talking about. These are egg-laying chickens. That is the black sex-link, and this is red sex-link. Both are eggs-laying chickens. The next one is, let's talk about the egg-laying chickens. Some of the facts we need to know about those hens. A herding hen can lay eggs for several years. A herding hen can lay eggs for several years. That's one fact. Hens begin to lay eggs at approximately 16 to 20 weeks. 16 to what? 16 to 20 weeks of age. And will lay between 20 to 23 dozen eggs for the first year. It will lay between 20 to 23 dozen eggs. You can see it's much for the first year. At 14 months, that's when it is about a year and 2 months. At 14 months, laying hens usually begin to molt. Laying eggs usually begin to molt. What is molting? Molting is a process by which hens drop their old feathers. By which hen does what? By which hens drop their old feathers and grow new ones. And they grow what? New ones. No eggs are laid during this period. When they drop their old feathers and grow new ones, they don't lay eggs at this period, at the time of molting. After molting, hens lay fewer eggs per year, about 16 to 18 dozen. You can see when the hen is molting here, the hens drop the rate at which the rate at which it lay eggs, and it's about 16 to 18 dozens that the hens will lay at that time. Unlike when it was about 16 to 20 weeks of age that lay 20 to 23 dozen eggs. Now we move on to another type of chicken. And the second one is meat-producing chickens. Say that after me. Meat-producing chickens. Meat-producing chickens. Meat-producing chickens are broad-breasted and larger than the laying chickens. They are broad-breasted and larger than the laying chickens. That means they are bigger than the laying chickens. And they grow faster. They do what? They grow faster. What are the examples? Broiler. I know this one is very common. You hear broiler, broiler, broiler. And also rooster. These are purposely for meat. They are not laying eggs. So how is it different from the one we discussed before? Is they grow faster and they are very big. Examples are broiler, rooster. These are examples of meat producing chicken. Let's look at the picture here. This is a broiler and this is a rooster. Don't forget, your rooster is a male chicken. So they are meat producing chickens. Move on to the next one, that is dual purpose chickens. Dual purpose chickens. When we talk about dual, we are referring to two. We are referring to what? Two. That means this type of chicken has two purposes. Dual purpose chickens are the classic backyard chickens. They are the backyard chickens. These chickens are fairly large bodied. They are not that big like that. They lay eggs and fatten nicely for meat. They lay eggs and they are also for meat. Dual purpose hens tend to get broody. What is broody? Broody is when hens sit on and hatch eggs. When hens sit on and hatch eggs. I believe some of you will have seen that before, where you see hen getting to make the eggs he has laid to broody. Most of their eggs are large brown shelled eggs. Most of their eggs are large brown shelled eggs. What are the examples? We have Rhode Island red and so on. So that is dual purpose chicken. You can see the picture here, dual purpose chicken. It lays eggs and it's also for meat purpose. Next is chicken feeds. One is chicks mash. Say that. Chicks mash. Chicks mash is a kind or type of feed given to chicks from a day old till 8 weeks. From a day old till 8 weeks. The feed ensures faster growth at an early stage of life. A day old chick will be given chicks mash till it gets to 8 weeks. Do you understand, pupils? I want to hear yes, Uncle Popo. Do you understand, pupils? Good. Next is grower mash. Say that. Grower mash. What kind of chick do we give this? This is the feed given to chickens from 8 to 16 weeks. From 8 to 16 weeks. That is 2 months to 4 months. 2 months to how many months? 4 months of age. For higher growth age. We give them this kind of food for higher growth age. And it's given when the chicken is about 2 months to 4 months. That's grower mash. Next is broiler starter mash. Say that. Broiler starter mash. Broiler starter mash is a feed that gives broilers, as you see in the name, broiler, is a feed that gives broilers a super fast growth that will make them grow very fast and robust, especially for meat production. And at what age? When it is 9 to 14 weeks. Broiler starter mash is given to broilers. Next is the layers mash. Say that. Layers mash. From the name too, is a well-balanced diet for all types of adult poultry. This one is given to the adult poultry. When they are adults, you give them layers mash. Let's look at how to take care of a day-old chick. How do we take care of a day-old chick? One, a day-old chick eats high protein starter. High protein starter ration in a crumble form. A day-old chick eats high protein starter. We have where they are selling the feed for chickens. We have it there. A day-old chick eats high protein starter ration in a crumble form. Next is this, because you should mind what you give to a day-old chick. That's why we are saying here that it is high protein starter. Next is avoid rodents, pets, or children from hurting them. They are still very, very small, so you should avoid rodents, the rats, and all other pets or children to hurt them. They can die if they are disturbed with all this. Next is maintain a moderate temperature around them. Maintain a moderate temperature around them. It has certain temperature that they will need to have. It must not be too hot or too cold because it's a day-old chick. Maintain a moderate temperature around them. Next is keep food and water container clean and filled. Keep food and water container clean and filled. The food, the water container should be clean because they are still very, very young and their body can attract any form of disease if they are not well taken care of, especially the kind of food and how hygiene their water container is. Next is you provide biotics in their drinking water for aided digestion. You provide biotics in their drinking water for aided digestion because they are still small. They need all this care. Today, we have talked about the types of chickens. We talked about the egg-laying chickens. We also discussed about meat-producing chickens and the dual-purpose chickens. What are the three types of chickens we have? The egg-laying chickens, yes. Meat-producing chickens, correct. Dual-purpose chickens, good. These are the types of chickens. We also talked about the chicken feeds. That's where we talked about chicks mash, yes. Goers mash, yes. Broiler starter mash, and layers mash. And we also talked about how to take care of a day-old chick. We have come to the end of today's lesson. But before you go, we have questions to test you on how you have listened to today's lesson. First question is this: list the types of chickens. Number 2, give 2 examples of chicken feeds. Your time starts now. Welcome back. Eyes on me. Uncle Wopo is here. You are also there. Good. Now let's look at the answers to the questions. The types of chickens: egg-laying chickens, meat-producing chickens, dual-purpose chickens. Correct. Give 2 examples of chicken feeds. We listed all the 4 examples of chicken feeds here. Any of the 2 that you have written is correct. Chicks mash, growers mash, broiler starter mash, and layers mash. If mark accordingly and score yourself.